Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today is truck loadout video number 2 on the channel. I did my first one. It's been almost a year ago because it was at the very beginning of the channel. And since things have changed dramatically for me anyways, as far as how I use my truck, I want to do loadout video number 2. I know many of you have seen me get tools out of my truck on some other videos and you've wanted to see what my new loadout was. So I thought I'd do that today because it's changed quite a bit from whenever my first video was. And again, I'll put a link to that. You may want to check that out if you want to know some specific tools and things like that, because I think I kind of pulled out every single tool in my truck on that one. But now I work 100% for myself. Back then, during that, I only did service work on the side for the most part, other than at this one facility. And we had several buildings, so I only kept stuff in my truck that was like my main tools, things like that. Well, now I work 100% out of my truck, so I have to keep more tools. I also have to keep a few more materials and things like that. And as far as what I do now currently, I pretty much do commercial build outs, and that is, from basically once the shell of a building is built, or if somebody's doing a change of use or whatever it might be, everything from the very beginning, from building the partition walls to insulation, drywall, finishing drywall, carpentry, cabinetry, base, doors, ceilings, all those things. That's what I primarily do. And then I still do service work of electrical, plumbing, HVAC, carpentry, just handyman type work. And then also some, also just more involved work. Just depends on who the customer is and if they know what I can do and all those kinds of things like that. But so again, it's a little bit different for me as far as on the service side, because all my service calls are almost always scheduled. So it's not something that I'm like most of you guys get in your truck and your van every day and you get a call and say, you got to go to this address and you have no idea what you're getting into. So you have to keep some of those what if things in your truck. I don't have to keep as much of that. I do keep some things, but not a whole awful lot. So that's one difference you'll notice. So as you think about that, you may wonder why I don't have certain things in my truck. It's because most of my jobs, I'm able to load up my truck the day before or that morning before I leave, knowing what I'm getting into. But we'll start over here on the driver's side, just like we did in the last video. And again, for the most part, this is the one with the biggest change. Up here in the driver's seat, I don't keep a lot of stuff up here. I keep a cup up there with some pens and pencils, an 11-in-1 screwdriver just for a quick grab. There's the mount for my phone if you've seen videos of me sitting here talking or watch the traffic. There's that. Also, a friend of mine's let me use their garage because it's pretty cold outside, so I appreciate that. So we open up the back, and again, this is the F150 Super Crew, or Super Cab, sorry, not a Super Crew. That allows me to open up both doors, and I have 100% access to all that. I like that kind of about it, instead of having that bar, even though I wouldn't mind having the extra room in the back, but it also gives me more room in my bed, being in a Super Cab instead of a Super Crew. And I think that's actually more important to me than having more room back here. So again, you're going to see a combination of Packout in my truck, along with, I built these drawers. I actually have had these for quite some time, but I took them out because I was working at that place primarily, and I just didn't have a need for having this much storage in my truck. So I always just left these out. But I actually built these out of some scrap that I had laying around. So that's why you see some kitchen, handles and things like that. I don't like spending money on things where I'm just building stuff to store stuff. Occasionally I might, but if I've got the stuff, I'm going to make it out of what I have laying around my garage at home. So starting up here at the top, again, I've got a Milwaukee Packout crate here. That is where I basically just throw stuff in as I'm leaving either a store or my house for the job that I've got coming up. In here right now, I've got my M18 drywall gun and cutout tool. I'm doing a big drywall job right now. And then I have these two pouches, TP3B by Vito, and then this Klein, just a empty pouch, big open pouch. I use this for a trash bag right here, but then these are also both on my Mad Pack belt clips, so they clip onto my Milwaukee crate. It works out really nice. I can easily just clip these off, snap that onto my belt in my pants, and then just take that into the job. So I have that one for trash, and then I also just have all my main tools that you're just going to take in somewhere, use to do most jobs. I keep those in this little TP3B so that I can grab that quickly, take that inside. Also, I can clip that onto my belt and grab more things and have two free hands. So I like that. Over here, I keep the M12 blower. As you know, that was in my bottom three tools of my M12 tools, but I still use it. Again, on all those, it's not that any of them was a bad tool. I just thought that the price was a little high for what it does, but I use this just to blow myself off more than anything. So if I'm going in and doing drywall all day and I don't want to get drywall dust all up in my truck, I just pull this out, blow off my tools, blow myself off, whatever it is. I keep that handy, just right in there. And then underneath of this crate, I keep a slim organizer. So it's there. I was going to buy the mounts for the Packout. They're $29.99, so $30. Or you can buy one of these for $44, which is what I decided to do, because with the mounts you get zero storage. With these, I'm able to keep a lot of different screws, different materials that I might need on a job. And again, these screws change all the time. It's whenever I use one up and I go buy something else. Basically, if I've got empty slots, I just throw those screws in here, and maybe that will save me a trip to the hardware store on some service job, or even if I'm doing a finished build out and I needed a 4-inch screw and I didn't have any inside, I can come out here to my truck and get some. I got some of these big lags, things like that. And then back here in the back, I have another one that's mounted. And then let me see if I can get some more light back here maybe. Inside of this one, I have earplugs, Band-Aids, batteries, lead for my pencil, CO2 cartridges back there for my gun to clear, condensate drain, some emery cloth, just random stuff, markers, pencils. But again, I went ahead and bought another one of these instead of buying a mount, because why pay $30 and have zero storage underneath my stuff when I can pay $15 more? All I did was I took out, a few of these, put some screws down through it, and then now I've got those mounted in. They're really secure, so it holds my crates and anything else that I want to snap in here. And I don't really keep, the crate is the only thing that stays in here all the time. And then back here in the back, this is where I can add stuff as I know what job I'm going to. So in this pack out here, for example, I've got my 3-plane laser from Bosch. I've got my batteries, my charger, my mounts, all those things. I can easily, if I know that I'm going to do a job where I'm going to need a 3-plane laser, I can just take this one, put it back in here. I can also get to this row right here without taking my crate out by coming around through the middle of my front seat. I can do that as well, and it works. I could also, if I needed more screws, I can add these here. You can also see the single ones. I can add more on the other side as well that you'll see here in a minute. Here's my M18 router. So, if I'm going to do a job with doors and I need to mortise hinges or strike plates, I just add that in. So every job, every day, I don't keep these in my truck every day, but I've got a place to mount the things that I want to put in my truck for the jobs that I know that I'm doing that day. Keeps it all from sliding around while I'm driving. Nothing's going to sling up here and come up into my front seat. So I really like having the Packout. It's very modular, and I can build every job as I go and just keep adding on to it as I need to. And it works out well for me. So over here I have zip ties with my zip tie holders. I can just have those clipped onto the seat belt. I can pull those off, add that to my bag. In the side door, have my Vito MP1, holstery Joey pouch, my Klein belt if I want to put that on, and then a kneeling pad, a little small one. I also have a parts tray here, so I can take that on and off. Take this into the job sites as I need it. I just mounted 2 Unistrut big washers onto my drawer that magnetizes, allows that to stay on there. I have a little unfoldable thing. It's like a file folder thing, but it's a plastic material. I use that as a trash can. I open it up and put trash bags in it, just for small jobs whenever I'm going in somewhere. Down here, I have a hole because this was blocking to where I couldn't build the drawer the whole way. I just clipped my tape measures onto my actual door here and pull them in and out. And then inside of that hole, I have my Bosch digital angle finder. And then I also keep the jack for my truck so that if I ever, for some reason needed to jack it up, which usually for the most part, I can always plug my tires and pump it back up with the M12 inflator and don't have to deal with that. But that's always there. This side, I have some wipes. These are really nice. These are at Home Depot. These work really well. If you guys ever need any, these actually don't dry out. They actually work really, really well. I keep an M18 M12 charger back there. So again, that's pretty much everything around these drawers. And then these drawers are all built in. They go pretty much over to the passenger seat. So that's how deep that they are. And what these do is they keep me from just, one, it gives me a place to mount my Packout, but more than anything, it keeps me from just throwing stuff in here. And then I got to start digging through it to get to the thing I want. This gives me 3 levels of storage. And that's what I like about this. So as we get into the bottom drawer, it's my M12 and M18 tools that I use, again, most often. That's all I have on this side. This is the stuff that when I get out of my truck, I'm most likely to grab. It's like vinyl gloves, my notepad for bidding jobs, another pair of gloves. Then I get over here. I have some Houdini to clean these tools before I put them back up. I have my M12 Surge, M12 hammer drill, the Rover service light, 3 6-amp hour batteries, 4 of the small batteries. These are just mounted in there, and some battery mounts in the bottom of the drawer. Then I have my M18 batteries, M18 hammer drill, M18 Surge, and then I also have the M12 oscillating tool and the right angle impact driver. So not every tool, but I can cut something with the M12 oscillating tool. I can, get into tight space with that right angle drill. I've got more power with the M18. I've got my M12 stuff that I use all the time if I need it. So this is most jobs what I'm going to get out all the time. And again, I have all sorts of other tools in my truck bed, as you'll see, here in a little bit. So that's the bottom drawer. Again, I put these latches on here, not because I want to lock them, but just in case I take a curve going 70 miles an hour, they don't fling open and start banging into my drawers or into my doors. The middle drawer is basically anything that I might use with those tools for the most part. So it's all my drill bits, oscillating tool blades. I have a bolt extractor set, self-tapping bits. These are all my drill bits and driver bits. You might have seen those in How Do You Organize Your Drill Bit video. Spade bits, the spider metal bits. I've got a metal shear that can go into the impact driver, security bits. These are just random loose bits that I have in case I just randomly need something. And then I have all my holstery tape measure clips, my Magnet Pros, my spider tool holsters, anything, my square holder, anything that I might take and put on my belt or on my pants to clip on my tape measure, to clip on my Surge, to do whatever. That's all right here. So again, this is pretty much just my drill bit drawer. Everything stays in there nice. And then up here on the top, this is kind of my extra drawer for if whatever jobs I'm doing, if I need certain tools, it gives me another space to throw certain stuff. So I don't normally keep very much stuff in this drawer. I do always keep this little box with my 7 1/4 or 7 1/2 square, my little trim square, Craig jig, angle measurement. That just stays in here. Here's my Sigma 3-plane laser. Just had a video on. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to check that out. That was nice of them to send that to me. I'm doing a drop ceiling job in between my drywall job, and I like to have 2 lasers for that. So that's why I've got this in here. That doesn't stay in here all the time. Then This is all specialty electrical stuff, network stuff, stuff that I might run into on a service call. I keep that inside of here. Some of these air shims that you can pump up, those are nice for lifting little appliances a little bit if you need to. And so these do stay in here all the time. All this stuff does. And then I've got my hinge doctor set because I do a lot of work on doors. These are really nice. If you haven't seen those, you might want to check those out. They're really expensive though, so unless you're in the door repair business, it's probably another one of them jobs or tools that's not really all that worth the investment for somebody who doesn't do it awful lot. And then over here to the side, I had a small space that I didn't want to make my drawer a weird shape because it was going to be hard to get your slides on there right. So over here I keep my little Empire torpedo level. I keep my 24-inch digital Stabila level, and then I also keep the Knipex Swedish pipe wrench, so in case I run into something where I need a bigger wrench to get a little more oomph on something, you know, I've got that to use, and that works out really well, you know, to have that in there. And that's just a storage space I had anyway, so I use it for that. So that's the driver's side for the most part. Again, I'm trying to make this a little faster. I know a lot of people didn't like the last one. They thought a few people thought it took too long, but I don't want to leave out anything either. So again, I think if you integrate Packout in a way that it's able to be flexible for you, I think it works really great. Other brands might work well too. I just really like how I can pull this and just slide it out. I wouldn't be able to do this with many of the other ones that got the latches on the side because I can't get my hands in there to undo it, and it wouldn't work quite like I'd like it to. But so yeah, that's the driver's side. So I'm also kind of filming this now because I haven't 100% knocked out everything. So if you guys got any suggestions for something that you see that you might would do different, let me know down in the comments below. Let's go ahead and go over to the passenger side now and check that out. So passenger side on the front seat, I basically just keep paperwork again up here. This has got all my license and insurance and all that kind of stuff information. Keep a door stop up here, and then my Vito MCT blackout and the installation driver. This is my tool bag if I'm going in for a bigger job. And again, I don't have this over there because I have my drawers. I would kind of like for this to be on my side that I get out first, but that's why I got that TP3B over there. So I actually use that first. Unless I know that I'm going to, I come over and get this. Another Packout crate. This is the one with the divider in it. I just kind of use this as a place to throw stuff as well. And I just keep it in this seat so that I can use it again as a seat inside of a job site if I need to, or I can use it just to keep my truck straightened up here in the front by putting stuff into that instead of sitting it in my seat and it's slinging everywhere. It's just a place to, you know, to keep my water bottles or whatever else. I have my M12 heated hoodie. Now that it's getting cold, I've got that in here. Those work really nice. If you don't have one of those and you're in M12, you might want to check that out. So this side, as far as how it's laid out, as far as it looks pretty similar to the last time. Have my kneeling pad here, M12 radio. Down in here, I keep shims, tubes of caulk, and spackling, caulking tools, things like that. Right now, since it's winter time, I only keep basically one tube of each in here. I like to run pretty much Lexel and Big Stretch, so I've got a little bit of both of those in there. I tuck some rags back in under this seat hole right here so I can just grab these, pull them out as I need them. I keep gloves over in this door. And then once you get up into here, it's just basically, you know, my hats, my extra toboggans now that it's colder. I have some coveralls and some insulated overall bibs. I keep all that kind of stuff, and then a rain jacket down in there. So this is pretty much any kind of clothes that I might need to change into for certain jobs. And then down here, I basically have clothes that I need to change into if I'm nasty. So if I'm doing drywall and I need to go later that afternoon and bid a job, I keep a change of clothes, you know, a nicer shirt, a nicer pair of pants and things like that, a long sleeve shirt here to wear under a shirt because it's colder. So an extra, all those things are just extra clothes for me to change into that are clean. So in case one is, something happens to the clothes I'm wearing and it's just, I get soaked or something, or again, I'm going to meet somebody to bid a job and I don't want to walk into there covered in drywall dust or covered in dirt or whatever it might be, gives me a place to do that. Up here on top, M12 or M18 fuel Packout vacuum. Again, this was a big reason why I bought this vacuum. I can now just take this and take it in and out. It's not moving around on me. I can add more stuff to it if I need to. Over here, just different organizers. I always keep an electrical wire nut organizer on me. I also have a wall anchor organizer, and then the next one down is my crimp connector organizer. I keep all three of those on me all the time, so those just stay there. But I can also, again, if I was only bringing that router, I could bring it over here, snap it in here. It's just options of snapping in different things. So over the course of time, I'm going to probably buy more Packout organizers and change some of my things over to those just so that I can quickly just throw them in my truck and snap them in. The drawers have now become, since I have the drawers over there, I don't really get in these as much. So this is more the just occasional tools that I might need on a service call or on a job site. So I have here stud finder, a Bosch cross line green laser, a Bosch laser measurer, a couple more tape measures, some CA glue, toothpicks, small zip ties, all sorts of different tapes, sealants. These little red caps for caulk guns or for caulk tubes. If you open one, it's basically like almost like a little condom that you can put on the silicone tube to keep stuff from drying out. They work really good. I don't know if there's other brands, but those work really well. Here's the heads for my installation driver and a Bosch 12 volt 6 amp hour battery. The only Bosch 12 volt tool that I really still use and still have, other than my 3-plane laser, which you can't use this 6 amp hour battery in, is a little planer, and I really like it. So I have this in here just for that. Then I also have some patch, some ready patch, some knives, a little paintbrush, some painter's tape, utility knife blades, just all sorts of stuff that I might randomly need here and there for something. And then in the middle drawer is just kind of like little hand tools that I might need, but I don't need to carry on me all the time. You know, I have my rigid plumbing tool, my crimp connector, a ratcheting cutter, the little rigid tailpiece cutter that I just had in the video with the PVC shear the other day, some clamps, some Allen wrenches. Here's the tool that goes with the CO2 cartridges in the middle up there. Just different hand tools, and I've got room to throw more in here. If I know I'm going to a job and I don't have a tool in here, I can throw some in here. And then down here in the bottom, I'm just using it for bigger stuff. I don't have a lot in here right now. Caulk gun, some clamps, some banding straps. I haven't really, you know, dug into this. I really, mostly I'm just using this for kind of extra stuff that I think I might need. That's what I'm putting in these drawers, and it's easily accessible, but it also allows me to stack things on top of it. So, you know, I could put just these in here if I didn't think I'd ever use these, but might as well have these. It's extra storage and just empty space. So I really like that. So again, that's the passenger side right here and how I use it. And the only other place I have left is back in the back in the truck. That's not a lot different, but we'll go back there and take a look at that. So the bed of my truck is the deck system. And again, I have back here, only thing that I keep back here all the time is I have the little giant Sure Step. Just had a video on that. I keep that there. I also keep my M12 or my M18 vacuum set up for wet vacuum now. That stays back here. And then these are my organizers. I've got a bunch of these from Milwaukee. I've been buying these since well before the Packout even came out. This is an electrical one because I've got an electrical job that I'm doing. I just basically come back here. Again, whatever job I'm doing, I've got one for doors, I've got one for electrical, got one for plumbing, all sorts of different ones. I'll go to my garage that morning, grab the ones that I'm going to need, throw them back here in the back of the truck, use that. Over here, I typically keep a 6-foot ladder. That's actually on a job site right now, but that's normally what stays here. So I normally keep a small ladder, a bigger ladder, but these things are, the vacuum and the ladder are the only two that are in here all the time. These change out based on jobs. Inside this drawer is all my M12 tools. And again, you can go back to the video and see me actually get all these tools out and see what's in there. But I have the 3/8 stubby, pen nailer, sawzall, jigsaw. I've got the cutoff tool now. That's one of them, the little 3-inch circular saw type deal. And then I've got my circular saw. I've got the bandsaw, copper cutter, and then I also have the Bosch planers in here. And I also do keep a Bosch 18-volt grinder with a battery adapter to M18 tools. I don't have a Milwaukee grinder yet. I need to get one. And then I keep these knee pads here. These are for crawling under a house, you know, whatever it is. I use my pro knees for whenever I'm actually doing flooring, but these stay in here all the time. And then I've got my tire plug set here, hammer, pry bar, some trash bags, those kinds of things. So again, I'm not going to get all these out. If you want to see what tools I have, you can check that out in the last video. And then this side here, still pretty much the same, except for I have just an M18 brad nailer, all my vacuum air tips attachments here. And then from here up, this is just for whatever jobs I'm going to do. Like right now, I'm doing the framing and drywall, so I've got my Atlas 46 vest in here. And then I'm also doing a drop ceiling with a lot of different can lights and things like that. So I've got some electrical supplies and some hole saws in here for that. So again, I'm not going to go in crazy detail pulling out all these tools, because then this video is just going to be even longer. And I know a lot of people don't like real long videos, so I'm going to keep that short. But you know, that's the deck system back here in the back. I really like it. But again, you can see my thoughts on it more so on that last video. So yeah, that's my truck loadout this time, guys. Pretty much the driver's side is the main change, but you guys let me know what you think about it. Again, let me know what you would do differently. Give me any kind of tips or anything, especially you guys that work for yourself and you work out of a truck. It's always hard to figure out, you know, what is it that I need all the time with me. Basically, that's what you're trying to figure out and try to weed out. And I've been doing that a lot over the last couple months. I had a lot of things in here that I just don't use that often. I've been weeding those out, keeping the things. It's gonna always evolve, but you know, you just gotta work it out, see what works best for each and every one of you. So again, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Hope all is well. Stay safe. Have a blessed day. See you on the next video.